welcome to my first official video podcast. I'm joined by Little Man Adventures, is that right?
Yeah.
He's a vlogger and content creator and known by myself as Will.
Yeah.
Okay, so firstly, could you give us a brief idea of the disabilities you're comfortable talking about and how that affects you?
5 years ago now, I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia. Got autism. I was diagnosed when I was about 6 years old, I think.
All right, so are they the ones that we're going to focus on today?
I think so.
Yeah, fabulous. Yeah. Okay, so I have a bowl which I'm going to cover because I don't want to get told off by YouTube. Advertising shreddies. Right, I have a couple of subjects in here which I've agreed with Will, so this isn't just me interrogating you this morning. He knows what kind of subjects we have in here, but I don't think we're going to have time to cover all of it, so you get to pick 3 after this lucky bowl. So I will let you do that.
Yeah.
Try not to show the camera the bowl too much.
Mix it up a bit.
Yeah.
Pull one out. What we got?
And if you can't read it, I'll read it to you because my handwriting's a bit.
We got hobbies.
Fabulous. That's a fun one. Hobbies. So we start talking about that first before we pick another one out, think.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, so how does your disabilities affect your hobbies?
I like the outdoors a lot. I like going out camping.
Okay.
And sometimes I have days where my pain is really high and can't do a lot.
Okay.
So I'm stuck indoors, don't really like being stuck indoors in bed all day. Rather be out doing something.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. And you're a content creator as well, aren't you? So
yeah,
does it affect your content?
It does, yeah. I film when I'm out adventuring, seeing new places, but there's times where I can't get out of bed or do anything, so I don't put out anything on my channel, which when you're a content creator, to get your channel to grow, you need to be posting quite regularly. And sometimes because my health's bad, it gets put on the back burner sometimes.
Yeah, so that would be your fibro that affects that most.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have any other hobbies that affects?
I don't really have any indoors sort of hobbies. It's all outside into like my brain's not working. I can't get the words out sometimes. That's one of the symptoms I have fibro. I get a lot of brain fog.
Yeah. Okay. And how does that affect you creating your videos? Does that affect when you're trying to think of what you're going to say and it doesn't?
All the time.
Okay.
But I'm not very good at editing.
Yeah, that's something I'm going to show you.
So I just leave it all in, sort of thing.
Yeah.
So
editing's difficult.
You get like the raw side of everything, really, with me.
Yeah. Okay. All right. At some point, I will show you editing.
That'd be awesome.
It is difficult.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of time. I did a 1 minute 28 seconds video, and it took me so long to edit.
Cool.
So I think I took about an hour just for that little video. So this is going to be like hours and hours of editing. No, okay, might as well include some of what I like to do. Some of my hobbies. I do have a lot of indoor hobbies, to be fair. I like drawing and stuff like that. But with my pains in my wrists, I do struggle sometimes. I'll end up getting really bad cramps.
Yeah, it's not good.
So I have to sort of, on my bad days. Did you want to pick another one out?
Yeah, sure.
Or do you have anything else to say? Because I don't want to rush you.
No, I think I'm good.
Okay, cool.
What we got?
It's like you're going to be a winner or a loser.
Transport.
Transport, cool. Okay. So how does getting around and transport get affected by your disabilities?
I've been driving now almost 10 years.
Okay.
But it did take a long time for me to get my driving licence.
Yeah.
Done a few modifications to it to make it a bit more easier to get in. I do like modifying my cars, and before my mobility was bad, my car was really low to the ground, and one of my springs broke. So instead of going for the suspension I had, I hired it up a little bit, so it's still lowered, but it's high enough. I'm able to get in it still, because before I was struggling a bit to get in and out.
Right. Okay. So you've adapted the car yourself. You didn't get any help with that, or?
I bought the springs on eBay for around £80, and I think it cost me about £100 to have it all fitted.
Okay.
I had all
right.
of that
So
done at home.
expensive.
Mobile mechanic came out and did
Yeah.
that for me.
Okay. So it wasn't covered by any funding at all. It was all out of your own pocket.
All out my own pocket, yeah.
Oh, expensive being disabled, isn't it? Right. So you mostly use your car. Do you use anything else to get around?
I have a camper van,
Right.
but that got wrote off
Okay.
last summer.
hmm
But that was all adapted for me as well. Like traveling a lot, I get tired, and having somewhere to have a little rest
Mhm.
when you're traveling is brilliant. I've been quite lucky. A lot of my camper van friends have come together and put up a GoFundMe. I got a mobility scooter last year. Like my mobility is sort of getting a bit rubbish, so I got a mobility scooter on the Motability scheme instead of getting a car,
Yeah.
because I already got a car,
Mhm.
so I don't really need a new one,
No.
and I like my car, so I don't
Sure.
want to get rid of it.
Right. Okay. How do you find using your scooter? Have you had any problems getting it around shops or on pavements, that kind of thing?
Yeah, there's not a lot of drop curbs around where I live, and
Mm.
the town's quite old, and like it's all cobblestones, and
Yeah.
going over cobblestones hurts me a bit. It's not very comfortable.
Yeah, I can sympathise with that because using a wheelchair isn't much better. So I use a powered wheelchair, as you
Yeah.
know, but I'm telling you guys. I use a powered wheelchair, and the thing with not enough drop curbs, I completely understand that. And it makes things very, very difficult and dangerous.
Yeah,
And there'll be times where I've had to go into the road.
yeah, it's not fun going
and
into the road.
I get beeped at, moaned at, because I'm not supposed to legally be on the road. Transport for me is mostly my chair, but I also use public transport myself because I don't drive currently.
Yeah,
And that can be a real pain in the backside too, especially when I'm waiting for a bus and there's either already a wheelchair user on and you can only have one,
yeah,
or I get drivers that are incredibly rude to me, or just drive past me, which is
yeah.
both just awful.
That is awful.
Yeah, it is awful. So if you've got an appointment or something, I don't know what the rules are on YouTube. But yeah,
You're okay for swearing on YouTube.
fair enough.
It's
Because I
only
got
when you want to, when your channel gets monetized, you won't get
Yeah.
paid for it. If you're swearing.
yeah, I probably should cut it out anyway. I think.
Yeah.
So it's not great. About me. Is there anything else you want to talk about?
I don't know.
You're welcome to grab another one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
let's
you
see
grab
what
as many
we've
as
got
you want.
next. Yeah, let's go for this one. What have we got? Sleep.
Ah.
My favourite word is when I say, "What is sleep?"
So-
Sleeping is not a good one for me. I sometimes I have a good sleep, sometimes I don't. And even if I do have a good sleep, it feels like I haven't slept at all. I'm
Oh,
constantly fatigued, tired,
yeah.
not much energy.
Oh,
It's
God.
horrible.
Yeah, and is that because of pain as well, or is it just?
Yeah, pain as well. Yeah.
Yeah, I sympathise with that. So when I'm in a lot of pain and I take my medication, sometimes that works and sometimes it just doesn't work.
Yeah.
Or I get real bad cramp. Doesn't help that I have a cat that likes to sit on my legs. But yeah, it's just awful because I have brittle bones disease. I don't mind saying that. And sometimes it'll sit on like really like awful pinpoints of my bones that I've like fractured or whatever, and I'm trying to scoot away. But isn't it when you're
It's
feeling
very
really
difficult.
crappy?
Yeah.
And sometimes also my meds make me really tired in the morning. So I have to choose between like a good night's sleep and possibly laying in on
Yeah.
my alarm. There's been times where my
Oh
alarm's gone
no.
off and I haven't woke up and I'm like, oh no, I'm gonna be
Yeah.
late today.
That's really not good.
Yeah, it is awful. Yeah. Do you think you're on the right medication for that? Or?
Well, I don't have any medication to help me sleep or anything like
Okay.
that really.
Right.
But yeah, I just put up with it really.
Yeah.
But like there's some sometimes I do get completely shattered in the middle of the day, and
Yeah.
I'm like, do I have a nap? And then, like, if I do decide to have a nap, sometimes my body's just like, yeah, no, whatever happens.
So does that happen in public?
No,
Oh, okay.
like,
So
I'm
you don't
like,
just go off anywhere?
no, like, when I'm at home, I'm like, oh, it's only
Okay.
the middle of the day.
Yeah,
I
but
can't
you
be
need to
napping
put-
now,
Yeah.
otherwise I won't be sleeping at night, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but sometimes, like, my body's like, yeah, you're napping anyway, even though I'm trying to force myself to stay awake. It's
Yeah.
annoying.
Oh, it's very similar to me. Sometimes if I'm having a really bad pain day or really, really bad fatigue, I will just sleep.
Yeah,
I don't know if I can, because it's not always possible, but if I can, I will just put myself to bed, shut the day, because
Yeah.
I can't cope with it. It's just too much. And there's only so much pain relief does. I don't know if people realise, but especially if you overuse it,
yeah,
because you do get addicted to it, and it actually doesn't work as well.
yeah.
I don't know if that's the same with you, if you've had those experiences with pain relief, but
Well, I've been told that it can be bad, so I only take it on my really, really bad days is when I take pain medication, and then most of the time I just put up with it and only take
Yeah.
my pain meds when I really have to.
yeah, because
So I don't want to get addicted to pain meds or anything
yeah,
like
of
that.
course, yeah. You drive as well, don't you? So how does your pain meds affect that?
I don't take them if I'm going to be driving anywhere.
Okay, so you have to suffer when you're driving.
Yeah,
Ah, that's bad because of all the movement and that. Oh, that's really, really painful
yeah,
sometimes.
and that's one thing I really miss about my Citroen Berlingo I had, which was my old camper.
Mm.
It was so comfortable to drive,
Yeah.
really comfortable. I could drive that for like 4 hours before it got too much for me,
Oh.
which is brilliant because
Yeah.
it only pretty much takes 4 hours to get up the top of the country. Once I'm arrived at the place I'm going to, just jump in the back and go to sleep.
Yeah. Right. Okay. And
Yeah.
not having that is actually not only is it bad because you can't explore as much, but you
Yeah.
don't have the luxury of being able to stop when
Yeah.
you need.
Like when I'm out adventuring, like after I've gone out for a walk or anything like that, I like to have a little nap afterwards and then either stay the night there or go off home. Yeah, but at the moment can't do that yet.
Oh gosh, yeah. People don't realise these things, do they?
Yeah,
It's interesting.
and having somewhere to rest while you've been out
Yeah.
is pretty good to have. That's the thing, like, not a lot of people have that luxury to do. You sort of have to force yourself to get back home, even though you're absolutely knackered. You can't really
Yeah.
stop and have a rest.
Yeah, and that must be difficult
Yeah,
because you want to go out and do things, but you're battling against your own body there, aren't you?
yeah.
How is it getting your scooter in and out your
Out of my car.
Yeah. Is it difficult?
It can be difficult.
Mm.
Like sometimes when I'm like I've been out on my scooter and I'm coming back to the car, I'm like so fatigued and so much in pain. Like it's difficult to take it apart, lift it up, and put it in the boot.
Yeah.
But before I got my scooter, I picked out that scooter because it was going to fit perfectly
Yeah.
in my Berlingo.
Okay.
But I'm stuck with my little car, and it just about fits in, and it's a
No,
bit
it's
of a
not
squeeze
ideal,
getting
is
in.
it?
Yeah,
That's
I love
not
my
ideal.
little car as well.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I have been thinking about getting rid of it and getting something a little bit bigger, but at the same time, I don't really want to get rid of that car because it's been so reliable.
Of course, yeah. And it's all the financing as well, isn't it? It's how much that's all going to cost.
Yeah, like my vehicles I've never had a finance vehicle, never bought a brand new vehicle, always had something
Finance,
outright.
Yeah, because people we do not get the funding that is needed
No,
for vehicles. So I had a vehicle for my wheelchair that somebody else was driving because I've never seen a vehicle now.
wow,
I have
that's
a
not
bus
good.
pass and my wheelchair. That is how I'm coping at the
Yeah.
moment because it's just not. I needed that money that goes to the car to
Yeah.
live. To live. That money that, you know, is not for care particularly. It's supposed to be to help you with your like things that you need, like wheelchairs and things like that. But cost of living has gone up so much
Yeah.
that it's food
Yeah.
or
Get around.
yeah.
Wow.
It got really expensive, and it was a choice between eating and having that car.
So you don't have a mobility vehicle anymore?
I don't. No, I don't have a mobility vehicle now.
Wow.
I have
That's
a
not
bus
good.
pass and my wheelchair. That is how I'm coping at the
Yeah.
moment, because it's just not. I needed that money that goes to the car to
Yeah.
live. To live, that money. That. How do you find the public with your scooter? Everything, are they helpful? Has there been any issues with attitudes or?
A little bit, yeah. I've had a couple of people say, "Why do you need that? You don't need that at your age." And I've had people say, "You got a license for that thing."
Right, so yeah, little comments and jokes that people think are appropriate.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So I have a story. I was out the other day, and I was about to cross the road, and a car comes by, right? Sticks their head out the window. This man, right, and shouts at me, "Goffed up."
Yeah.
I'm not that bad then. So
What we got? Work, past and present. Okay.
Did you want to talk about what it's like for you?
Wow. Yeah, we'll do this one.
Yeah.
So, I was in work, not anymore, and I worked for them for a very, very long time. And they weren't very nice. They knew about my disabilities and things, and for a while I was quite able to do my job, and it got to the point where I had to speak to my boss at the time, and instead of helping me out with me staying in work, it made things more difficult. In the end, it got too dangerous. I weren't gonna risk losing my driving license.
Of course.
And risking anyone else on the road.
Yeah. Because it was tiring you out.
Yeah, which wasn't good. And they said to me, if I feel like I need to have a rest or go home, to let them know. And they say, yeah, we'll let you go home. And when it came round to that, I let them know, and they said to me, one more delivery. And it was never just one more delivery. It got to the point where it was getting dangerous.
Okay.
And I weren't going to risk hurting anyone. So I stopped working for them. And I did ask for adaptions in place, things like that at work. I did for about a week. And then I asked again. They said, no, you can sit down on the steps instead of giving me a chair.
Yeah, I was going to say, I was just asking for a chair.
Just
and they wouldn't
no.
accommodate you. That's
No.
awful.
They
That's
said,
really awful.
like, you're in the way sort of thing.
Yeah.
Just sit on, you're in the way sitting on a chair.
Yeah.
Just sit on the steps.
Yeah.
I like sitting on the steps. Not comfortable. Very difficult to get up from.
Of course.
And another thing, because you have the handrails for your steps, that wasn't even attached to the wall properly. And like there was a risk of that coming off the wall, so it weren't possible. And through lockdown, I was working, and like that at the time was pretty good. That worked well for me because all I had to do was sit in my car, wait for them to give me the order, and then I'd go off and drop it off to the customer, and then come back, sit in my car, wait for the next order and drive off again. And I even said to them, can I do what we did during lockdown? And they said no to that.
Wow.
So instead of helping me out, stay and work.
So
since giving up my job.
So I sympathise with that.
Yeah, it's horrible.
It
I
is.
really enjoyed my job as well,
Yeah.
and that got taken away from me. And ever since, I haven't been able to find another one.
Yeah. One that's going to accommodate you, that isn't going to make it difficult for you.
Yeah,
So I think there needs to be work in that area massively before you can start thinking about getting people back into work, because
yeah,
it's just not going to be possible for a lot of people that, like myself, I'm sick so many days a week. And visually, you probably can't see that on a camera because some days I'm all right, but some days absolutely terrible.
yeah.
And I can't function. So, because I also have fibro too.
And I didn't know that.
Yeah, I do. I have fibro and I have my brittle bones disease. So I get pain from the the points,
Yeah,
fibro points, and the arthritis from where I've had fractures. So when they both flare up, it's like I don't want to be here.
No.
I just want to sleep.
yeah,
It's like sleep because I just can't cope, and there's nothing that helps.
yeah.
So
It's horrible.
yeah, it is. But what do you do in that situation? So what do you do? Like,
Um, yeah. There's not really much you can do in that sort of
no,
situation.
exactly.
Like, a lot of us disabled people do want to work because,
Mhm.
like, we don't want to be, like,
Mhm.
I feel, for me, I feel like I'm being lazy but I'm not. I
Yeah.
hate sitting around doing nothing.
Yeah.
But I want to be doing stuff.
Mm.
And having, being paid for it is sort of a extra thing,
Of course.
really. But your body says no, and then when you're in work, like, these places don't really get it. Like, 1 minute you can be fine, the next
Yeah.
you feel like you're being hit by a bus,
Yeah.
and like you're unable to do much at all.
Yeah.
And then you're like sort of stuck in a situation where you're forced to keep going when your body's saying stop before I'm going to make you stop. That's the thing. Like, if you don't stop and rest, your body's just going to give up and do that for you, which is
That's not an ideal
it's not
situation to
good.
be in the workplace either, is it?
No, it's really bad.
So I mean, since COVID, there's been a lot of remote work, but I think still not enough.
No, there's
So-
definitely not a lot of remote work out there.
Yeah.
Before I started struggling a lot with my mobility, I was like always a hands-on sort of person. So I never really learned all the computer side things of stuff like that. I don't really know a lot of IT stuff.
Yeah.
Like,
Okay.
back in the day, computers weren't really my thing. Not really that much now. I still struggle to learn
Yeah.
new things, like with technology and things. And plus, I can't afford all these nice new
Yeah.
technology stuff.
I feel that.
Which, another thing,
Yeah.
a lot of the new things that are out
Yeah.
actually help with
Yeah,
disability.
They do.
Like, even though they're not really made for people with
Mhm.
disabilities,
Yeah.
but they really help.
Yeah, because that watch thing now, isn't there? I can't think what that's called.
Yeah.
I know, it tells you if you're like overdoing things or getting quite fatigued.
Yeah.
No, I can't remember what that's called. If anyone knows, they can tell me, but I haven't got a clue.
I've
but
actually got the app for that, but not the actual band.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And the app's free.
Yeah, but it's the band that's probably really
Yeah.
expensive.
My brain's gone dead and can't remember the name of the app. It's called Visible.
Visible, right? That
Yeah.
might be the name of the brand of the.
Yeah, they got a band that
But yeah,
tells you
that's
if you're
not. That's
overdoing
something
it.
actually that would be really ideal for me.
Yeah,
But something I wouldn't be able to
and
afford.
it's a lot of money.
Yeah.
And plus, you got to pay for the band, and then it's £14
Yeah.
a
Then
month.
it's the subscription as well.
Yeah. But the actual app on its own is free, and that has actually helped me quite a bit. Like, keeping my energy levels good and not overdoing it and crashing out. Yeah.
The equipment's just too expensive.
It really is.
Too expensive.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why I'm filming on this really horrible camera. I'm too poor. Yeah. It's awful.
Yeah.
Okay.
What else we got?
I've made this really difficult for you. I'm really sorry.
Accessibility.
Okay. So, have you had any issues getting your scooter in shops or
Yeah,
places around? Yeah.
like the turning circle one isn't that great on it.
Hmm.
Getting down aisles and things like that. Like they put the things too close together so you can't get past them, and you're like doing a 3-point turn or
Yeah.
a 5-point turn trying to spin round.
Yeah.
Yeah, it can be a bit difficult sometimes.
Yeah. And do you take your scooter in shops?
When I do my weekly food shop, I go on my scooter, or if I'm up to it, I just hold on to the trolley and walk around with that.
Yeah.
Or but at some points the trolley does get too heavy,
Okay.
and I can't push it along, even though I'm using the trolley to help me walk around as well.
So you use your trolley as kind of like a walking frame?
Yeah.
Okay.
And if I struggle pushing it, my support worker steps in
And helps you.
and helps me. Yeah.
Good. How do you find the aisles and stuff? Because I always find they're really bloody narrow.
Yeah.
And
way too narrow.
Yeah. And there's a few shops where I'll be trying to scoot my chair around and I'm just in everyone's way.
Yeah.
Constantly.
Another thing is, I've also used the supermarket mobility scooters they have.
Yeah.
And those are bigger than my scooter.
Yeah.
And even that struggles to get down the aisle. So they haven't really thought out the shops at all.
Wow. Yeah, they haven't.
Yeah.
They haven't. I agree. It's awful. How do you find stretching out to reach things when you're in pain and stuff? Is that a problem?
Yeah, I struggle with that a lot.
Yeah.
Lifting my shopping, carrying my shopping. So I have my support worker help me with putting the shopping in my car and
Yeah.
bagging it up.
I usually get out, obviously reaching at top shelves and stuff.
And I also have a trolley, so instead of carrying heavy bags up to my flat, I got a trolley that I put all my things in and wheel it upstairs.
So I usually have like a basket on my lap.
Yeah.
And then I have to ask whoever's with me, to get something and pop it in. But when the basket gets too heavy, I can't carry it.
Yeah.
Because then it's that weight.
It must be heavy on your legs and
on my leg
be
bones.
quite painful.
And I can't have that because then it starts to be really uncomfortable. I'm going to snap my leg in a minute. That's why I have to do this a little bit. So I really struggle with that. I have to have someone else, if I'm going to get a big shot, push a trolley or something because it's just too much to have it on my lap. It's not an issue, but you start carrying loads of milk and stuff, and then you start feeling that way.
Especially drinks, they're way too heavy to
100%
carry around.
Yeah, it's a difficult situation, that one.
Yeah,
they need to design something, don't they?
Yeah, they really do.
It's a lot better. And shops, like, there's a few that are just awful. One in particular, which I won't name what shop it is, but you go into the till, like where the till is, and it's so narrow that when I go up to pay for something, I literally block everybody else from getting past.
Yeah.
So I'm sat there, I'm trying to do this transaction with the cashier, and I've got somebody just like not knowing what to do, but to either walk all the way back around to get out or try and step over me, who's massively in the way.
Yeah.
So things like that, they're not thought about, are they?
No, I always feel that I'm in the way.
Yeah.
No matter what I do, I always feel like I'm in the way of someone.
Yes.
Yeah. And I feel bad for it, but I know I shouldn't. But I do.
I think I feel like that too, as well, when that occurs with me, so I do understand. I know there's nothing you can do about it.
No.
But it still makes you feel really awkward.
Yeah. And another thing is other customers as well. Like, sometimes I'm going around the shop with just my stick, depending how I'm feeling that day. And I've had people push past me when I'm looking at things, and they go round you and try and grab round you. There's been a few times where I've almost been knocked over. Wow. And, like, I clearly have a disability, and you're trying to push around me. That's a big risk. You could knock me over or
of course.
Anything, which is really bad. People just don't have patience.
No, they don't. I don't agree with that one.
Yes.
Yeah. Also, people, this is a different subject, but people, I know they don't mean it, but when they're like standing in the middle of the path talking, I
Yeah.
don't know if you have this issue. If
I've
you've got a
had that a few
mobility
times.
aid,
Yeah.
you can't walk by them because you've got to have the more room. So you kind of like have to stop and go, I'm really sorry, but can you just cut your conversation
Yeah.
so I can get through? Which I always feel awkward about saying that to people. But I also think, I'm probably going to get a lot of hate for this, but I also think if you're going to have a chat, please go and get a coffee somewhere. Don't do it in the middle of the path because there are people that need to access that path.
Yeah.
You know, and I guess we all stop and chat to an extent, but if I'm going to do it, I try and do it out the way.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it's just little things people don't think about and then get really crabby when
Yeah.
you bring it up. So, are you happy to stop there? We've done nearly an hour. So, if you want to, or if you want to follow my friend Will on his channel, does a lot of vlogging and trips and stuff, don't you? Campervanny stuff. If that floats your boat, I will leave a link down the bottom for people to follow you. And I'll send you a copy of this video if you want to put it up as well.
That'd be awesome. Thank you.
Nice. And I'm very new to this, but please give me a follow and subscribe.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanking you.